Hey, I've got some bottle caps. Let's see what happens.
Curious. What's that about? How does that work?
Slink wants to know.
Okay, so as we established, I have bottle caps. And I collected those a long time ago. And I always thought I would do something with them, like make a tabletop and then cover it in epoxy or resin. But I don't really have room for a table, so I got a little tray. And I thought it would be cool to go ahead and paint it first before I put the bottle caps on there. And then I do have the resin for it, but first we're gonna paint it. So I have some paint here, and I couldn't exactly decide on one color, but I really like the color purple. So I picked two colors and I'm gonna mix them together and try to come up with the perfect purple. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Okay, so I've got a pretty good purple there, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint the back portion of this tray. See how it goes. But yeah, so I've got these bottle caps, and I'm not sure how many there are in there. This thing's about 2/3 of the way full. It's not that many, but it's quite a few. And like I said, I always thought I'd do something with them, like make a tabletop or something. For some reason, I was always, I don't know, I always thought I should save them. Plus, to me, it was like every time I put them in there, it was like saving a memory or something. And I haven't added to that collection in probably 10 years or so, but when I was adding to it, it was some pretty fun times. But yeah, there's some interesting ones in there, and when I do pull them out, and when I was getting ready to do this video and looked at some of them, it was kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that night. And some interesting nights, some fun nights, and some other nights. So yeah, I'm just throwing some paint down on the back. It looks like it's gonna take a couple coats. And so yeah, I'm gonna do that. And it's probably gonna take a little while to dry. And then I got some super glue to attach the bottle caps to the tray itself, because I know if you just pour resin, it'll just float to the top. And I don't know that much about resin. I've never done anything with it myself. I have watched some videos in the past, and I know it can be kind of tricky, so I'm going to follow the instructions. And if you're watching this, don't take this as a tutorial, because I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying it out, and it's something I've wanted to do for a while, so I'm doing it. And we'll see what happens. So after 2 coats of the purple, got a pretty good coverage on there, and now I'm going to take gray and do the inside of the outer edge of the frame here. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now, and see what happens. And then once I'm not going to be super careful, because when it's completely done, I'm going to tape it off and then spray paint the outside of the whole thing with black. So if I get a little bit on the edge, oh well. Sometimes you just gotta do it and get it done. Okay, so this is pretty much dry. It's not the best paint job ever, but it is what it is. And I've got super glue here, and I'm gonna start taking some of the bottle caps and start super gluing them to this. And then once that dries, I'm probably gonna leave it dry for quite a while, and then I will pour the resin. So here goes. See how we do. And first I'm just gonna test, make sure the amount of bottle caps I've laid out will actually fit. And they do. Looks like I need to space them just a little bit, but it looks like it'll work. So here we go. And it's not the best paint job, but I can always go back and touch it up and go from there. So basically, I'm just putting some super glue around the edge of the bottle cap, and I'm gonna stick it down. I guess I should have checked the other direction with the fit as well, but we'll see as we go. Yep, I think I'll be just fine. Bottle cap 1 is down. And I went through the bottle caps and kind of picked certain ones, and it seemed like the ones that I like the color and look of the most seem to be these Smirnoff ones. So that is what I'm currently rolling with. And I'm sure there's a way that, you know, you can get more precise lines. And that one's gonna have a little bit of skin attached to it. And the point of the super glue is to make sure they stick to the bottom. And I guess if they don't, when I actually go to put the resin, we'll deal with that then. And it might even make it more interesting. What I found when doing this is Smirnoff Grape must have been a hit back in the day, because there were plenty of those. Stacking a little bit more around the edge here just to make sure we get a nice, secure situation. On to the next row. So there you have it. They've all been glued down, and I'm gonna wait a while. I don't know if it's gonna be later today that I tackle the resin or if it's gonna be another day, but they've all been glued down, and that's what we're working with right now. So I'm back and I've let that dry, and now I'm currently mixing up my resin, and depending on what kind of resin you get is depending on the ratio that you'd use. The one that I did get is 1:1, so currently I'm mixing that together, and the cats are put away, and I do have the windows and everything open for good ventilation. I got gloves on. And like I said previously, this is not a tutorial, and I may not be doing things exactly how you should, so definitely follow whatever instructions for the products that you do get, because I'm definitely not an expert in any of this. The first time I've ever used resin, and I'm just gonna kind of see what happens. And I did get the type of resin that does have to cure for 24 hours. So once I do get this poured, I am gonna let it set in a safe location for that 24 hours before I do anything further. It does say if there's bubbles in it, like after you pour it, you can use a blow dryer. I think I have one of those. Okay, so here it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and pour the resin. So the resin has been poured, and it does look like there are some air bubbles. And one of the tips is to use a hair dryer to get some of those bubbles out. And I do see that some of them are coming to the surface and popping. So I'm going to give that a minute to do that. And I'm going to come back with a hair dryer and see if I can get some of those additional bubbles to come out of it. So it seems like the hair dryer worked somewhat, but now I'm going to go get a lighter and see if I can get some of those super small bubbles on the surface to pop. So there you have it. There is my first attempt at resin. It does look like there's some bubbles coming up from underneath the bottle caps, but they seem to be popping on their own, so I'm not going to worry too much about those. And if I do end up with some bubbles, so be it. It's my first try at doing this, so I don't anticipate perfection, and it's just been a learning experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and just let this set for 24 hours, and once that has cured, I'll be checking back with you. Alright, so it's been a week since I poured the resin, and after about 24 hours it had fully cured, and it is fully hardened now. So what I am going to do is go ahead and take some tape and tape off the resin part, and then go ahead and take this outside and spray paint the outside of the tray. And once that dries, I'll have a completed project. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get to that. I'm gonna try and get as close as I can to the edge, but I do have some extra paint, the gray paint, so I can always touch that up as well. I'm gonna try and get close to the edge, but you can always go back and touch it up. I'm not exactly sure what the adhesive is going to do, sticking it to the resin, but I guess I'll find out and clean that up as well. Alright, I've got it taped up, and I'm definitely gonna have to touch up some places, but I'm fine with that. So I'm gonna take this outside, go ahead and spray paint around the edge, and I will be back. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I have sprayed a couple coats of paint on there, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the tape off and see what we've got. So there you have it, some bottle caps set in resin. It's definitely not perfect, but I think for my first time doing anything with resin, it turned out pretty well. I'm happy that the resin actually set. And I think after the black paint has some time to cure a little bit more, I might go back in and kind of touch up the edge there where I didn't get it taped completely perfect, which I was expecting. And yeah, I think it went pretty well, and I think I still have some of that resin left, so I think I might do some more projects with that. I'm not exactly sure what to do with it. If you have any ideas, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, or send me an email, let Slink know. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think. I'm sure there's things I could have done better, and yeah, but I'm pretty happy with it. And I never really knew what I was gonna do with the bottle caps. Like I said, I thought about making a tabletop, but I don't need a table, and I don't really need a table with bottle caps on it. That's really not my vibe at the moment, but I think the way this looks is pretty neat and kind of unique, and I like how it turned out. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!